In this video, I'm going to explain step by step how to apply a candy red color so you can give your car a new look. I bought all these products online, and throughout the video I'll be explaining in detail how to use each one of them. First, we're going to use a concentrated candy red pigment, and we're going to mix it with an intercoat or pigment promoter. After applying the candy red, we'll need to apply some clear coat. I'm also going to apply another color that you'll see later in this video. We'll need a paint gun to apply everything, some blue painter's tapes, and a measuring cup. And you're obviously going to need a face mask for your safety. The only thing I didn't buy and that you might need is a silver base paint, because the candy red color looks way much better if you apply it over a silver color. Anyway, let's get back to the video now. And the first thing that I have to do is mask all the places in the car where I don't want to apply the candy color. And for a better application, I'm going to remove the taillights, and I'm also going to remove the headlights to make the application even better. I'm not going to take the whole car apart, like removing the fenders or the bumpers, because we're using this car on a daily basis, and if I take everything apart, then I won't be able to drive it. But putting back the headlights or the taillights, it's very quick and easy, so that's not going to be a problem. Okay, so now we need to sand the car, and we're trying to do this as fast as possible because I think we chose one of the hottest days of the year to make this video. You can use an orbital sander, you can also sand it by hand, or you can use a sanding block to sand the body of the car. Depending on the condition of your car's clear coat, you can use a 600 grit sandpaper, or you can use an 800 grit, which is less abrasive, or you can use a 1000 grit sandpaper, which is less abrasive than the others. The car's clear coat is in good condition, so all I need to do is prepare the surface so that the pigment or the candy red paint will stick well to the car's body. And I don't need to remove the whole clear coat because in this case the clear coat is in pretty good condition. If the car's clear coat was in bad shape, I'll use a 600 grit sandpaper. I'll remove all of the clear coat, leave the base paint alone, and then I will apply the candy red color. So I'm going to use a 1000 grit sandpaper, and let's get started. Nope.
Third time.
Third time, okay. Nope. It never works. By the way, it's been a real challenge to dub this video with my own voice, but from now on I'll be uploading all my videos in several languages. So if you're liking the content so far, please consider subscribing. It'll mean a lot to Claudia and me. Well done, we're almost finished sanding the entire car. It's really hot today, but we need to finish the car before Claudia's birthday. One thing left to deal with are these emblems over here because I don't want to paint them candy red. So what I'll do is create some moldings, and then I'll remove the emblems, and when I want to put them back, each mold will help me place them back exactly where they were. All done, I just need to finish removing the adhesive and sand this part over here, and then we'll be ready to apply the candy red.
Are you going to cover the emblem?
No, I don't want to remove it because I don't want it to look blue with the candy red. So what I'm going to do is apply the candy red over the emblem.
But it'll not cover it, right?
No, because the candy paint, it's not a, well, it is a paint, but it's not a base paint. A candy paint is more like a cover or a coating that goes between the base color, which is like the real color of the car, and the clear coat that protects the color of the car. So what we'll do is create some sort of a sandwich between the silver color of the car, then the candy red, and then we'll put clear coat on top of it. It's really hot out here. Okay, if you're going to apply any paint color or any clear coat or any candy color, you're obviously going to need to use a paint gun. And the way to set it up, here you can see a knob with a fan pattern, And this is where you can regulate the spray or determine how wide the gun spray is going to be. This knob here is the paint regulator, and the more you turn it or the more you open it, the more paint is going to flow. And this one here will help you regulate the air or the airflow coming from the air compressor. And this here is an air filter that you must have and also works as a water trap to help prevent any moisture or water coming in from the compressor and mixing with the air or the paint while using the gun. Claudia and I named this bad boy the Hog, and it's a 2.5 HP compressor with an 8 CFM output, and it has a capacity to hold 50 liters in its tank. An 8 CFM means it has 8 cubic feet per minute of air output capacity. To mix the candy paint, you should use an intercoat, which is also known as a transfer vehicle, or also known as a carrier, but in most countries it's called an intercoat. So first I'm going to add the intercoat until the number 6 on the mixing cup. And I'm going to add the same amount of reducer or until number 12 in the mixing cup. And then I'm going to add 5% of the candy pigment or dye, which has to be about around here. And another 5% of hardener or catalyst. There we go. And now we need to mix it. Now, I know it looks a little dark because I actually bought a cherry red candy color. There are different types of candy colors, like obviously candy red apple. You can also buy candy gold,
Candy
blue, orange.
Candy green.
Yes, green. Hold on. Let me mix it with this instead.
Looks pretty.
Right? Now let's put it on the paint gun, and I'll explain to you how to apply it in just a sec. I just set up my spray gun, and I'm going to do a test here to make sure the fan is about 30 centimeters in a semi-oval shape. Even though it's similar, this process requires more care than applying regular paint. I'm applying from side to side without stopping because if I stop, it could leave darker marks on the overlap. And it's honestly kind of challenging because the space here is a little bit tight. But once I got the hang of it, it became easier to apply this candy paint. You can see here in this area where a part of the car is already painted, I start pressing the trigger before reaching the car so to avoid any overlaps or dark spots when applying this paint. I'm going to leave these shots here in real time so you can see the time or how long it's taking me to apply this paint. This will give you a really good idea on how you can apply it yourself. I saved the hood for last because I didn't want to mess it up, so I know I'll do a good job where it's going to be more visible. Now, painting the roof was really challenging because, as you can see, I don't have any biking DNA on me, so I couldn't really easily reach the top just by standing, so I had to use a ladder. Now, combine that with the heat of the weather, I have to say it was really challenging. In the end, I only applied 2 coats and waited 15 minutes between each one of them. Okay, I ended up using all the paint. What do you think? Are you liking it?
I love the color. Looks very pretty.
I'm glad you do.
And the color seems to change, right?
Yep, it's kind of like a chameleon color. All candy colors will give you different tones or different reflections depending on the light. For example here, if you look here, it looks darker. And over here, it looks lighter. And here, it looks even lighter. So it's going to depend on where the light hits. And it also depends on the base color that's underneath the candy color. So you can imagine at night it's going to look a lot darker. Yeah. So now we're going to wait for half an hour for the paint to fully dry, but in the meantime we can start mixing the clear coat. Most clear coats come with instructions on how to make the mix. For example, in this case, the mix ratio is 4:4 and 2 or 3%. So that means that if we're filling up to number 6 with clear coat in the mixing cup, I'm also going to add 6 parts of reducer, and then I'm going to add 3% of catalyst or hardener to make sure the clear coat hardens once it contacts the paint. And once I'm sure it's very well mixed, we can start with the application, but first we're going to make some tests with the spray gun to make sure everything works fine before applying it directly into the car. I'm also going to leave these shots in real time so you can see the pace that I use when applying the clear coat. Claudia changed the camera angle here because she says the finish here looks a lot better from this point of view. So if you agree with her, leave a comment telling her that she was right, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna love that. At this point, I've already applied the first coat of clear, and now we'll have to wait between 15 to 25 minutes for it to settle before applying a second coat. Okay, after the second coat of clear, I waited half an hour to make sure it's completely dry. So now I can finally start removing all the masking.
So what's next? Put everything back together.
Well, I can't say I'm giving this car a new look if I'm leaving the taillights like this. So I'm thinking about making them darker. I cleaned the taillights with water and degreaser and placed them over a table because it's easier for me to work. One of the taillights had a few scratches and I know I can fix them, but if I do it right now, I'm going to waste a lot of time, so I'm going to have to skip this process right now. I'm going to use this 1500 grit sanding sponge because it makes it easier to sand the curves and it's not going to leave any heavy marks or scratches. And besides, I don't need to sand that much, just enough to make sure that the tint sticks well to the lights. I'm using a degreaser to clean the lights after sanding each one of the pieces. Once the surface starts looking a little bit opaque, I know it's ready, so I don't need to keep sanding anymore. Oh, just as a note, this process of darkening the lights isn't recommended for the headlights because it could drastically reduce your visibility when you're driving at night. Once I'm finished sanding, I'm going to use a translucent paint specially made for lenses, and it's the same one that I used in the BMW giveaway video. Now, as a tip, before applying, always test the spray cans on another surface to make sure it's working well. The application process is somewhat similar to applying the candy color. I'm moving from side to side with a bit of overlap to make an even coat. At first, the spray might seem like it's not darkening, but I know it's not true, so I'm applying the coats a bit faster. Okay, I'm giving 10 minutes between each coat because this spray in particular takes some time to darken. Because once it's fully dry, you'll be able to see how dark it's getting. So if I keep spraying over wet coats, I might end up making them too dark. I decided to add a second coat, and as a note, if you try using this spray and your lights end up getting too dark, you can always use a 2000 grit sandpaper with a little bit of water and remove some of the layers. And then you can actually reapply the spray over again. I didn't show this from the BMW giveaway video, and that's why I wanted to show this process in this video, and I really hope you like it. Okay, I can already see they're getting darker, so that means the paint's already drying, but I'm still going to give him another half hour to make sure it dries completely. Remember that you can always polish these paint products, so you can polish the lights if you want to give them even more shine.
So what's next? Put everything back together.
You can't say we're giving this car a whole new look if we leave the wheels as they are. So
We're going to paint the wheels.
We're going to paint the wheels. I'm using a little bit of the greaser and mixing it with water to make a mix that's about 10 to 1. 10 parts of water, 1 part of the greaser. And with this I'm going to start spraying all over the wheel. And the formula will start working in about 5 minutes. And this is actually going to help me spend less time scrubbing the wheels. Actually, it's already working. Can you see how the dirt's coming off already? That's the idea. I'm going to remove this cap here. Oops. Once the water and the greaser formula has done its job, I'll use some water with some car shampoo to completely clean the wheels. Now I'm going to dry it very well. Like this, so it looks better in the camera.
Yes, please.
And now I'm going to use this sanding sponge again because I need to sand every part of the surface of the wheels until it's opaque, because once it's opaque, I know for sure that the paint will adhere well to the wheels. I'll clean the wheels with a little bit of the greaser. And now we're going to mask the tires so we can apply the paint. I want to use a black spray paint that doesn't need an additional clear coat and that the result will look like a semi-matte or satin finish. Are you ready? I'm applying the first coat very lightly to make sure the rest of the paint adheres well to the wheel. I really like the design of these wheels, but they're a bit tricky to paint, so I'm taking my time to paint them right. Okay, it already looks great after the second coat, so now I'm just going to wait 20 more minutes until the paint's completely dry. Once the paint is fully dry, I'll put the wheels back on the car and the headlights and the taillights so we can finally see the car's new look. What do you think? Do you like it?
I honestly love it. Reminds me of the first car you gave me.
That's right. We're not finished yet with the modifications and design that we want to give this car, but it's gotten late. It looks like it's going to rain, so we'll leave the next modifications for the next video. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.